right now. Early voting continues through July the 27th. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford Issues with Brian Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, their charitable foundation called Sharing Change. Well, it's funded by members who round up their electric bills each month to the nearest dollar as a donation and support hundreds of nonprofits. Find out more at sharingchange.org. Today, we are going to be talking about the Salvation Army and the Murfreesboro Corps. And joining us today, Misty Ratcliffe. She is the Development and Communications Manager for the Nashville area, which includes the Murfreesboro Corps. And we're going to talk quite a bit about, some efforts to make some enhancements and staff and, advisory council, that kind of thing with Misty this morning. Good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Good to have you joining us today. I'm not sure that a lot of people realize, but our local Salvation Army has been here, since the 90s, and the Murfreesboro Corps has just been doing some great work. And now, kind of with a little restructuring, it's part of the Nashville area and helps to bring in resources like yourself and others there.
Yes, absolutely. So, like you said, Murfreesboro's been down, has had their own corps or a location up for the Salvation Army since the 90s. And so the services have changed over the years based on what Murfreesboro's community has needed most. And so we're always trying to reevaluate and make sure that our programs are aligning with what the community needs most. And so what we're working on right now is with a new corps officer coming in, Captain Keith coming in. We always take a look at everything when we get an officer change, just to check and see if we're in alignment. So we're in the process of doing that with our programs right now, just making sure that they're all doing what they're supposed to do and meeting the needs. But we're also looking at how we can engage the community better.
Well, I know Captain Keith had to, hit the ground running, which is what every officer does that comes in. And this is, just so folks know, it's really nothing new. Every 3 to 5 years or so, the leadership and officers change. And that's just a way to bring a fresh perspective and kind of reevaluate things every so often.
Oh, absolutely. I'm on my 5th set of area commanders here in Nashville. So it's just a part of how the Salvation Army works. It brings new strengths into a corps and a command to meets what's going on. So it's always great when we get new officers because they come with new ideas, they come with new strengths, and it just allows us to continue to improve our services and make sure that the mission is moving forward. One of the things that we are actively doing is we are working to grow our advisory council, specifically for the Murfreesboro Corps, with community members from Murfreesboro. So we are looking at individuals who want to invest their time in helping us set the strategy and the programmatic movement that we're going to be doing over the next few years. We're looking for those to come alongside us so that they can share their insights on their community and then help us make those moves and that growth happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we have. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say about the advisory council. They're kind of in a role to bring the experience in their background, their work, their community ties to help with maybe bringing in some additional funding, but also to just kind of give guidance. And if you have someone that's a banker that can help with finances, that kind of thing, right?
Absolutely. And we actually have we have I think at least one confirmed new
leader. I know of a few of the advisory council folks who have just been very interested in nonprofits, and they have retired from their business, or where they worked, and bring a wealth of knowledge. Those are some really great folks that could come alongside the Salvation Army. So what would be the process, I guess, if someone out there listening would be interested?
Yeah, if they want to, they can either call the Murfreesboro location or they can fill out the contact form or reach out through the website. If you're interested in learning more about being an advisory council member, usually what we'll do is we'll schedule a tour. We'll go over, what we're doing in Murfreesboro, see if it aligns with your passion space and is a good fit for you, and then also determine, what strengths you would be bringing in to see if you would be a good fit for the council as it is at the moment. So if anybody's interested in starting that discussion, they are more than welcome to reach out to us, and we can kind of go from there.
Well, if you want to try to do a little background yourself, a great place to start, which would also have some contact information, is salvationarmymurfreesboro.org. That's salvationarmymurfreesboro.org, and check out the website there. Misty Ratliff is joining us today. She is the Development and Communications Manager with the Nashville area, which includes the Murfreesboro Corps. And advisory council, a strong advisory council. You also mentioned, kind of looking at the ways that our local Corps is engaging with the community and what the needs are. What does that process look like, Misty, and how you're doing that with the new leadership with Captain Keith?
So we are, the area command, our Director of Social Services is working with the Director of Social Services, specifically to Murfreesboro, to go over the programs and make sure that they are in alignment with the current processes and that are working well. Just making sure they're in alignment and are as strong as they possibly can be. And then the other thing that we're doing from a community outreach perspective to build community support and engagement is we are actually in the process of adding a team member specifically for Murfreesboro that will be a development person. But I don't want you to think that's just going out and getting donations from people. Part of their job is building partnerships and relationships with corporations, even from a volunteer perspective. And we will have a partner for that person that's going to be specific to Murfreesboro. We are hiring a person here in Nashville that's going to be overseeing volunteerism across the area. So they will work in conjunction with the person in Murfreesboro to develop volunteer opportunities and work on those partnerships. Because donations are not the only thing that make us go. They're very important.
Sure.
They do make the programs go. But volunteer hands and time also are critical to making our programs run and helping us have the impact that we have. Last year, we helped almost 4,000 individuals through the various programs that we have. And so to keep those numbers going and hopefully in the future increase those numbers through our programs, it takes both time and money to make that happen. And so we're trying to put the right people in place that can help us engage our community in a way that enables us to increase that ability to help, which then allows the community to have even more access to the programs and more people to be impacted.
Misty, I would think that that person also, once they are here and making connections, would be, maybe a great person to help identify community leaders that could be on the advisory council too.
Absolutely, yes. So that's one of the things is, once they get to know the community, they will be key in identifying who could be a good advisory council member, as well as the advisory council members we already have. Some they typically can also bring in strong advisory council members from their own networks. And so it really is something that just kind of grows upon itself. Once you get a good base in there of really invested people, it really does start to grow. And we know that, the important thing to keep people on the council invested is that they actually know what their job is, so to speak, and how they can help and how they can impact it. So we just want to make sure that we do keep them engaged, and that's what keeps them coming back and wanting to help us more, is knowing that they are having an impact on their community.
So as you look at now some of the programs, of course, there's supportive housing, and everyone thinks about Christmas with the kettles and also Angel Tree. Maybe just kind of give us an overview, because there may be folks listening that obviously have heard of the Salvation Army, maybe didn't know that we had a Corps here in Murfreesboro, and what are some of the things that are done here specifically in Murfreesboro?
Absolutely. So right now, in alignment with Nashville, our focus is on homelessness prevention and homelessness solutions. And so when you look at our services, you can kind of see that those fall into those two areas. We do have the shelter with the supportive housing, and its main hope is that we will not just be a place for people to have a safe place to sleep every night, which of course is important, and we're not discounting that. But the hope is that we will actually be able to help guide them into permanent housing from the shelter. We don't want it to just continually be a place that they kind of live forever. We do want to help them succeed and get back into housing of their own. That gives them a better quality of life, but it also keeps a bed open for the next person behind them so that we're able to continually keep moving people through the process. We do have community meals every day, every evening. So anybody in the community that may be facing food insecurity, maybe the bills are a little tight this month and you haven't been able to fill your pantry like you would, you can always come get a hot meal from us any evening, and help use that to help feed your family. We do a food pantry once a month where you can come in and get a food box. We do have some written utility assistance options that are potentially available if you qualify based on the grant parameters. And of course, there's always Angel Tree, which everybody seems to know. And believe it or not, we're already planning for. I had the area commander in my office literally right before this meeting going over dates and times and shifts for getting ready for that. So we are actually already heavy into Christmas planning. And so that is a program that allows families to have a little slack in their budget. We know that families are moms and dads are going to provide Christmas for their kids. It's just something that provides a feeling of normalcy for their children. And so they may forego the electric bill in order to put gifts under the tree. The electric bill doesn't go away. It's still there the day after Christmas. And then they have to figure out, what am I going to do now? And so if we can take some of that load off of them and provide the gifts that keep them from having to choose between the electric bill and giving my kids a happy morning on Christmas, we want to do that. That helps prevent the backsliding and the problem potentially for them. And so that is why Angel Tree really is such a pivotal program. It's not just about happy Christmas for kids. It really is providing a resource for families so that they don't feel like they have to put themselves in a bad situation just so that their kids are normal. And so that's why it's such a pivotal program. And it does take a lot of volunteers to run, as does Kettles. Kettles actually help fund our year-round programming. So the money raised through the Kettles goes not just for Christmas activities, but towards that supportive housing and the food pantry and the Pathway of Hope, which we talked about last time on the radio show. We had somebody from Pathway of Hope, which is the program working with families in generational poverty and helping them find their pathway out and onto a better quality of life as well. So if you were to partner with us either on the council or if you were to volunteer or give, those are the things that you are going to be supporting. We aren't here just to continually hand out things. We really actually want to get to the root of the problem, and we want to help individuals and families solve those challenges and overcome those challenges and just have a better quality of life. That's really what we're here to do.
Misty, appreciate you spending some time. Misty Ratcliffe joining us, the Development and Communications Manager for the area, including the Murfreesboro Corps. SalvationArmyMurfreesboro.org, where you can find more information. A great resource there for you. And once again, don't forget, if you missed part of our conversation, you can check the podcast at WGNSradio.com. Just look under Podcast and Rutherford Issues.
Time again for the Doug Young Educator of the Month Salute from News Radio WGNS